Gate swung open, revolted by the thick scent of excrement from the chamber. Locklear hastened up to the ladder affixed on the far wall and ascended with its filth-slick rungs. Behind him, Gorath and Owen reluctantly did likewise, gaffing on the noxious vapors in the shaft. This is nothing, Locklear grunted, shoving upwards against the grating. All the windows in the palace are open right now. You ought to smell it in the winter. Darkness surrounded them as they slithered out of the privy. Their only impression of the chamber provided with the faint flicker of distant firelight. 10 yards before them, the hall joined an elaborate colonnade stretching in either direction. Somehow I hadn't pictured my first visit to Krondor like this. Owen sighed, falling blindly into step behind Gorath and the senior. What, you didn't like the romantic tour? Locklear chuckled. How many people get to see that way into the palace? Drawing up short, Locklear's features brightened as he observed the pair of approaching figures lost in conversation. Self-conscious of his bedraggled condition, he straightened his uniform and cleared his throat with a stentorian air. Greetings, Prince Arthra and Master Magician Pug. And the game gets big again. Decide on a resolution and keep it. I was glad I zoomed the sight of you safely home again, Locklear. I can't say my nose is as well pleased. I thought we had broken you and Senior James of whatever it is that they broke them of. You know the way old habits, Highness. We encountered a bit of trouble with the gate, so I chose a more expedient, though somewhat more disagreeable path. Incurable sewer rats to both of you. I shall have to order that each of you be accompanied by a score of washing maidens to keep you representable enough for court. Welcome home, Lockie. Thank you. As happy as I am to be here, I'm afraid I would come with bad news from the Northlands. From the Northlands. Okay. I expected as much with the false nighthawks prowling above my streets above and below. It can only the Mordheil are up to their old mischief. What do you know? Motioning to Gorath, Locklear introduced a former Mordheil chieftain with a wave. Slowly, Gorath lowered the hood. The gasps of startled reactions of those crowding the hall helped mask the stealthy interest of a second Mordheil in the chamber, armed with a bow. Assassin, get down! Is this like a... Oh! Pug says no. Oh! Hey! We made it to Chapter 2! That seems like a good place to stop. If the game would pick a resolution and keep it. A whisper led him through madness. He stumbled forward with unfamiliar feet 10 times too small to belong to a warrior. There were lights in the hills around him, fire and voices shouting through a downpour of sloshing hoofbeats. He reached for his sword, then remembered that he hadn't a sword that night. He had only been a boy of 12 midsummers, only a boy, and yet he led the ragged remains of his father's tribe. Who leads to Mordheil? A whispering voice insisted in his head. I must see more. Years, a river of men coursed together, bleeding tide. In a bleeding tide, then he was amidst them. Screams rang, a howling figure silhouetted himself against the moon, brandishing a bloody sword aloft. The wolfish figure screamed words of wrath and damnation as he cleaved his way through the Mordheil brothers. He was Delacan, a former general of Mordradis, leader of the unified tribes of the Northlands, and he was the enemy, Gorath. The memory detonated into a million fading thoughts, each fleeing after the other in faint echoes of a weak whisper. Before him now there was a new image, the face of a fair young girl whose pale blue eyes watched him with weary interest. And there were others too, all settled like himself around a polished council table, all studying and dissecting. And Gorath was the object of their scrutiny. I cannot find the truth, my prince, the tired girl whispered finally, quietly. His mind is chaotic. I find images, but I cannot hold them long enough to understand. Narrowing his dark eyes, Prince Arthur glared at Gorath. He hides his thoughts. Gorath is Mordheil, Pug quickly interceded. For his exhausted daughter, even with Gamia's exceptional talent for sensing thoughts, his mind may have innate psychic defenses. I may need to send for one of my advanced students. No need to disturb studies, Master Magician Pug. The Mordheil speaks truly. Council members exchanged surprised glances, then turned their attention to the aged magician seated next to Pug. Lowering his eyes, the man made a dismissive gesture. Forgive me, I do not mean to presume, but I have looked into his mind as well. Makhala continued. War in the kingdom would have many wide-ranging effects, not for the least of which would lead to a disruption of trade between our two worlds. My Emperor of I cannot pronounce the name of that place. Tussaranurana? Close enough. But it'd be most displeased if our rift-making secrets were seized by the barbarians in warfare. Gorath glowered at the Tsunari magician. Trading agreements notwithstanding, the Mordhal watch your borders. Nighthawks spy on your imperial cousins, and before the snows there shall be an army come to the kingdom. Heed my words, Prince of Krondor. You must prepare your troops. Anger flashed into Thunderhead's Averotha's eyes as he rose to his feet. Bump. Resolution. What I must or must not do will not be dictated by a dissident Mordhal. Not for a lot. I have been tolerant while I listened to your vague speculations based on incidental, half-heard conversations, but how am I to believe what you say? What evidence have you laid before this council to prove that Delican intends to do? What evidence? I bear the humiliation of betraying my vow as a Mordhal and the indignity of surrendering to a sworn enemy. Why betray the Delican to the Kingdom of Isles? Of what benefit is it to you to snare him? He is leader in name only, however bitter a draught Delican may be for your kith and kin to drink, magician. His rule is black poison in the gullets of me and mind. Already he's bloody his nose, Prince of Krondor, blunt his sword, and the unified tribes will cast him down in wrath. Let him cross your northern border, however, and 10 other clans will join their strength to his in the legacy of... I can't read this, it's going too fast. Have me send my troops, if indeed he intends to strike one of our northernmost positions. Which castle shall I garrison for the attack? High Castle? Iron Pass? North Warden? Would that I could tell you, Delican holds in good confidence only a handful of cowering dogs among them, and only a few are privy to his war plans. His private councils are restricted to... You guys read this, I can't keep up. He's foul company, that leader of yours. Your Highness, if you give me leave, I believe I can find the evidence of Delican's intent. I will need someone to accompany me to Romney and supplies for my journey and a small parcel of gold. What do you think you can find in the provincial river town in the heart of the kingdom? Aim to catch a bird in flight. Of late, Delican has emptied a good deal of his treasury to provide the service of the Nighthawks. In exchange, he has demanded tactical information about kingdom holdings. Turned to gilded assassins into spies? Only for a time. Although the payments have been left in various hidden locales, the messengers were always sent to a rendezvous in Romney. If I go there, I may be able to intercept information concerning the forthcoming attack. Would such evidence suffice? Perhaps. Dang me, but I don't trust you, Gorath. How do I know that this isn't a plot of yours? We can weigh the evidence to our heart's content, but your cousins could be slitting the throats of my serfs as we sit dawdling. Go to Romney, but you will provide for yourself. If this is some part of some secret Mordhal scheme, I'll not look the fool before the world. Pug, unroll the map for me. And again the resolution changes. The scroll smelled of dust, scrawled in chicken scratches and spider tracks. Many lines staggered across the moth-eaten paper, indicating the paths that were the major roads within the kingdom. Pointer in hand, Artha bent over the map and pointed to a large black dot. We are here in Krondor. The dawn tomorrow, you will leave through the main gate and rendezvous with your escort, Senor James. I know you might have preferred Locklear's company, but he has business elsewhere. You will head to Romney, providing one of Delican's assassins doesn't slit your throat first. You should reach the Ursine Ford within a month, and then Romney you will join a special detachment of King Liam's soldiers staying at the Black Sheep Tavern. They may be of service to you. Nodding, Gorath took in Arthur's advice, listening studiously as the prince reviewed the details. If you find the evidence, I will act only when James has conveyed the information to me. Is that clear? I have received James's word. Until then, I wait. Understood, Gorath replied. Good, Arthur replied, slapping the surface of the table with a palm. At the council chamber, he noted the wearied expressions of all sat around the map. Why don't you let Gamia and Makala show you around Krondor? I don't have a few things I need to consider alone. reading the offer as a polite dismissal, the Warren Council members began to file out the door, most glad to be on their feet again, following the grueling session. As Pug passed by, however, Arthur snagged his sleeve and drew him back to the table. "You don't mind, I would have your counsel, Cousin Pug." "Certainly," Pug replied, resuming his seat. "I am all attention." Whoa. Great. Thank you, computer. This is awesome. Right when he's going pointer crazy. Just a minute. Hey guys. Recapturing this bit. Hopefully it won't screw up. North Warden. Fortress Sargoth is 300 miles to the north, and I doubt he has resources to defend a line for that long. So an attack at North Warden seems unlikely. Leaving High Castle, which is a viable alternative, but neither target seems to have an obvious goal. You are no field strategist, and you hate to become involved in state matters, but I should like you to delay your return to your home at Stardock for a while. I feel ill at ease. You are not alone in that I, too, have sensed something unusual in the air, but I won't ascribe it to anything as dire as magic. More likely, we suffer from bad soup. Everything's aside, we will call up the militia reserves from Malek's Cross, Darkmoor, and Lighton to join them for an attachment of Krondorian Lancers just outside Dimwood. James will send word to me there. What of the garrison? I will remain in place. I have considered an option of a full push south, and it seems unlikely, but I will give Delicon nothing. Our agreement remains. Now we wait. Gods help Gorath if he betrays us to the Mordhell. Chapter 2, Shadow of the Nighthawks. And now we're here, and we can talk to her. "Pleasure to see you again, James." "Mine is the greater pleasure, my lady. Is Pug about?" "You've just missed him. He and Malaka went off to discuss magic someplace. And if I know my husband, that means I won't see him for a few days. Even on holiday, he can't seem to take his mind away from the art for long." "In many ways, he and the prince are much alike. Where is Arutha, anyway?" "Out with his twins and the Princess Anita. It seems your famed luck is running thin today." "Quite the contrary, for I still have your company, if I may have a moment." "As much time as you need. What may I do for you?" "Magic supplies." "You artificers in Stardock have begun exporting their goods from the Academy. Is there any good places to buy magical items near here?" "The most notable one that's close is a little place called Stardock Annex at the Abbey of at Sarth. Officially, they have no ties with the Academy, but there's not much we can do to keep them from using the name. There's also a fellow by the name of Daba who buys from us, but he lives a long distance from here, out north of Romney, if I recall." "So when do I get to meet the stunning daughter of yours? I've heard quite a bit about Gemna, but I've been too busy to make time to meet her." "Imagine you'll see her as soon as I do. She's more likely trailing after Pug and Malaka about the palace. Any opportunity to hear her father discuss magic, and she's immediately at his side. And two, it may be she's hiding away from Arthur's twins. She's not quite interested in boys yet." That's all we can talk to her about. Alright. Nope, we can't leave there in that door. This door is for... this is for everything, and this is Locklear stuff. I've actually already gone through all this. But I'll do it again, even though I'm going to reload. I also stripped Locklear's blessed armor off. Gave it to him to hold for him. Good enough. I don't know why I'm bothering, since I'm just going to reload to the other save. Anyway, we have to exit via the sewer. So yeah, we don't have our spellcaster right now. I imagine we will find one while we're out. But we have these two. He's got a big crossbow and a big sword, and now he's got blessed armor. And he's got his elven stuff and all this other stuff. We are still in this capital. we're down here. We have to leave via the sewers to go in the way we came in, which isn't very hard. It's basically straight down from here, right around here. But I will be doing that next time. I just wanted to re-record that so you guys could see the little field strategy planning. I was a lot more reckless when I was off camera and Owen died, which is why I'm going to use the other save. So, you guys take care, alright? I will talk to you all later. Bye-bye for now. I have to go up and get Locklear's stuff in the other save before I stop recording. Or before I stop playing for now. So, bye-bye guys. Talk to you later.